This is chapter 1.5, and this is part 1 of chapter 1.5. Now, when we have 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7, there's a shorthand way of writing it using multiplication, and you write it as 5 times 7 because there are 5 sevens here. And when you take 5 times 7, that gives us 35. So multiplication is the shorthand form of addition. Or they also say repeated addition. Now product is this 35. It's the answer to a multiplication problem. Factors 5 and 7 are multiplied to give us the 35. So factors are the numbers being multiplied. Now, multiplication has different forms. You can say 3 times x, which is the same thing as 3 parentheses x, which is the same thing as just 3x. So when letters begin to appear, x can no longer be used to represent a times. However, since there's no variables or letters here, we can use x as our time sign. So when we take 25 times 8, again it needs to be in column form. And what we do is we take the 8 and times it to 5, which is 40. Since that's 2 digits, we bring the 4 down, just like with addition, and then we bring the 4 up here. So we bring the 0 down and we carry the 4. Now 8 times 2 is 16, but we still have to deal with that 4. So we take 16 and we add 4, which gives us 20. And since there's no other number here, we can just bring the 2 down. Now, here, 2 times 9 is 18. Bring the 8 down, carry the 1. 2 times nothing is nothing, but we still have to add that 1. And then 2 times 8, and since we're at the end, we can put the whole 16 down. Now, because we've got another digit, this is starting at the tens place, so we have to scooch over, and a lot of people will put a 0 here. I like to just, scribble that out and put a scooch. Now, 5 times 9 is 45. Bring the 5 down, carry the 4. 5 times nothing is nothing, and we still have to add that 4. And then 5 times 8 is 40. And since we've got more than one column here, we've got to, or more than one row, we've got to add our columns. So 8 plus nothing is 8. 1 plus 5 is 6. 6 plus 4 is 10. So bring the 0 down, carry the 1. So 1 plus 1 plus nothing is 2, and then 4. If you are neat challenged, I would suggest using graph paper, because that would help line up the numbers. Now, when you've got ending zeros, there's a shortcut. You can just bring those ending zeros down and then start with the next number. So 2 times 6 is 12. Carry the 2, carry the 2 down and carry the 1 up. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 more is 7, and then 2 times 2 is 4. I like this shortcut. Now, for this last one, 5 times 1 is 5, 5 times 3 is 15. Bring the 5 down, carry the 1 up. 5 times 6 is 30, plus 1, 31. Scooch. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 6 is 12. Scooch, scooch. because we are going over to the hundreds place. Now 1 times 1 is 1, 1 times 3 is 3, 1 times 6 is 6. And we add up our columns, our columns. 5 plus 2 is 7, 1, 7, 8, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 6 plus 1 is 7. Again, you can put the commas in there to separate the ones period and the thousands period, but it isn't a necessity. And as you see, I've been writing stuff to shortcut our time. Now, the multiplication property of 0. Anything times 0, and that the A is just any number. So any number times nothing is nothing. And it doesn't matter if the 0 comes at the end or at the beginning, it's still 0. And what you'll see a lot of in my math lab is something like 7 times 3 times 0 times 45 times 10. Well, all you have to do is look in that list. If 0 is in there somewhere, the whole answer is 0. Now, the multiplication property of 1. Anything times 1 is the anything. Okay? And it doesn't matter if 1 comes at the end or at the beginning. It's still whatever you multiplied to the 1. Now, the commutative property. Just like with addition, you commute from home to school at the beginning of the day, and at the end of the day you commute from school back to home. So it doesn't matter which order you multiply these in, you're still going to get the same answer. And again, with the associative property, just like with addition, A came to a party by herself and she met this couple B and C, and at the end of the party B decided to associate with A and left C out in the cold. So it's the exact same thing as with the associative property of addition. The only difference is that there's a time sign. Also, if you just see A parentheses BC equals AB parentheses C, remember, with or without the dot, these mean times. Now, the distributive property. A times the sum or difference of B and C. Then I would take A times B, so AB, and then if this is a plus, we bring a plus. If this is a minus, we bring a minus over, and then we take A times C, so AC. It's kind of like this. If I've got a box that has a $5 bill and 1 ring in it, and let's say I've got 3 of these boxes that are exactly the same. Okay? Well, how much money do I have? Well, 5 plus 5 plus 5, which gives us 15. And how many rings? Well, there's 1, there's 1, there's 1. So that makes 3 rings. Alright? Well, what if I've got 3 and I put a parenthesis and I say 5 plus R? Well, guess what? It's the same thing. 3 times 5 plus 3 times R. And if it says to simplify, then you're going to take 3 times 5, which gives us 15. But we don't know what R is, so you have to leave the 3R together by themselves. And since this doesn't have an R and this does, I cannot combine them because they're not like terms. Now, What are the distinguishing factors of these last three properties? Well, the commutative property, the order changes. Notice AB but BA. Now on the associative property, ABC, ABC. The order stayed the same, but what is grouped, and I shortcutted that, GRPD is grouped together, changes. But the order stayed the same. And with the distributive property, this is probably one of the easiest to figure out. A shows up how many times on the left side? Yep, just once. But look what happened on the right side. A showed up twice. So something shows up only one time on one side of equals and two or more times on the other side of equals. Those are the distinguishing factors. This is the end of part 1.